Today, we're going to be simplifying the best Town Hall 12 Dragon attack strategy and how you can earn more 3 stars with the Zap Mass Dragon. What's going on, my friends? My name's Corrupt, and that is right, guys. We're going to be going over the best and easiest Town Hall 12 attack strategy that you can use whether you're a new Town Hall 12 or you have low-level heroes. This is none other than the Zap Dragons. This works incredibly well here at Town Hall 12. It's on par with the Zap Witches, making it an extremely easy and viable attack for 3 stars. So what are you looking for? Well, you're going to be looking at air defenses. You're going to be usually using 2 lightning spells and 1 earthquake per air defense. However, in this base design here, we see that we have a multi-target inferno, so we can use 4 lightning and 1 earthquake on each of these air defenses to get rid of both the air defense and inferno tower. So placing them in between them is going to help. Now, another thing that we're going to be doing is using a Sui hero in order to get into the base to get rid of the air defense and the inferno that is over to the right. And we're going to be using an Edrag, using the Edrag chain to get rid of the topmost air defense. Now, there are, of course, other ways that we can get rid of air defenses, such as using the lightning spells, 2 lightning and 1 earthquake on a single air defense. You can do that, and you can still get a lot of really good value from it. Of course, you can also go ahead and use 2 lightning and 1 earthquake on 2 air defenses if they're close together in the same compartment. This can really offer you a lot more value, and sometimes you did see this at lower, like a lot lower Town Hall levels, like Town Hall 9 or even Town Hall 10. So taking advantage of that here at Town Hall 12 is another good option that you should try to do. Now, we will be talking about creative ways of using your lightning spells later on in the video, so make sure you keep watching to learn the best tips and tricks to master this attack strategy. So now, that really kind of sums a lot of things up. The only other thing I would really want you guys to pay attention to is the sweepers and how they're placed and how to deal with them. Using either lightning spells or freeze, you can easily do that and deal with them with no problem. So now let's talk about the ZapQuake. This is the part where a lot of people will really need to understand how many lightning spells you're going to need. And usually 2 lightning spells on an air defense is enough, as I mentioned, but 4 lightning spells here is enough to weaken the inferno towers where they can be killed off by using the earthquake. So you want to really consider those different factors. Now, after this, you want to take each step slow. So you've done your ZapQuake, and now you're going to be going on into the Sui hero. This is going to be using the king and queen. Notice the use of the ice golem. It's going to provide tankage for both the king and queen, and it's going to freeze up defenses around there. The king here is being used to create some pathing, so he's going to be focused on going down this way while the queen enters into the base. So after you've gotten rid of what you really wanted, you can go ahead and start using the Edrag. Remember that Edrag chain did get changed in the recent update, meaning that's going to go from the collector, storage, wizard tower, and then the air defense. So this is extremely important because you really want to understand the pathing of the chain. This doesn't just work out as a way to get rid of air defenses, it also works out to getting rid of a specific area of the base and just doing 2 things at once. Not just getting rid of an air defense, but also creating the funnel. And this means that now the dragons have an easy time now getting into where the town hall is, so we don't have to use the battle blimp. So you'll see that we're going to be using the dragons to go straight in for the town hall. So we're using the dragons and then the balloons. So usually you want to try and keep the balloons protected as well, though, when you're entering into the base. Now, this is going to be a super minion CC, not really too difficult to deal with, but we do want to use the Warren ability, especially as we get closer to the town hall, to protect the balloons and the dragons. The reason that I'm saying to protect the balloons a lot more so is partly because the balloons are really going to dish a lot of damage if you keep them alive. So you want to try and make sure that you're doing just that. And you see how many dragons we still have left up, dealing through a large portion of the base, and this just goes to show how easy this attack strategy really is. And you did see the use of the freeze spell to freeze up the sweeper in order to make it a little bit easier for the rest of the attack to move through. But other than this, outside of this, you've got the rest of the base down, just the rest of it is cleanup. and you really want to make sure that you are speeding through each part, but still taking your time on each of them. You definitely don't want a time fail with this one, so just keep in mind those small factors. We are going to be talking about creative lightning spells a little bit later on in the video, just to give you guys an overall good idea of how you guys can use the lightning spells. Other than this, that gives you guys a good template of how you guys can use it. Now let's talk about the creative ways of using your lightning. You also have creative ways that you can use the ZapQuake here at Town Hall 12. Not just using the lightning spells and earthquake on air defenses, but you can also use them on other defensive structures such as the Eagle Artillery. Usually if you're going to be doing this, you're going to use 2 lightning spells in between the air defense and the Eagle Artillery. Then you're going to be using the other remaining lightning spells that you have between other defensive structures. Now, because you're using 7 lightning spells, if you're able to touch defenses that are a little bit weaker to taking multiple lightning spells, like the Wizard Tower and the Sweeper, then you don't really need to worry about them too much. You just need to make sure that you're using 7 lightning spells in between the Air Defense, Eagle, and Expo, because they will take a different amount of lightning spells to weaken up. So Air Defenses take 2, the Eagle takes 7, and the Expo only takes 5, and then all you have to do is use 1 Earthquake to get rid of all of them. So that kind of really sums up exactly what you really want to do in the grand scheme of things with the lightning spells versus the Eagle Artillery. This can usually offer you a lot of really good value if you're able to provide enough support for the rest of the attack. So usually you're only going to do this if you're able to carve out one area of the base using the lightning spells like you see here. So using them in order to get rid of an air defense, the Eagle Artillery, and Expo, a lot of good value that surrounds that one part. Now, another way to use the ZapQuake is versus multi-target Infernos. We showed you this earlier where you guys can use the lightning spells over the Infernos if they're pretty close, and that way what you're able to do is give yourself a little bit more value than not doing that at all. Sometimes it might be also a good idea to hit them in island compartments. That way what you're able to do is get rid of them and make it a lot easier for the rest of your attack to push through the base and making it a lot easier. So that really is the creative ways that you can use the lightning spells, but that is not the only thing that you really need to know about the attack. You also need to know which seed machine is best for this attack at what time. When choosing a siege machine, you want to try and look at different aspects of a base design that might make it a little bit easier for you to really understand exactly which siege you should be using, whether this be the Battle Blimp or the Stone Slammer. Now, the Stone Slammer in this case should only be used if you're able to get over into the Town Hall compartment really easily. So something like this is where you're able to push all your dragons into the base and you're able to easily get right into the Town Hall compartment and you're able to get rid of it. So you can see that we're using the Stone Slammer here in order to push in. Now this is a little bit more of an offset Town Hall, so we're able to get through the Town Hall with little to no problem at all using the ability right over it. Now, of course, you can also go ahead and use the Stone Slammer if the Town Hall is roughly in the center or if it's slightly a little bit more offset, but if it's kind of in the center of the base and you have perfect pathing with your dragons to push in, you can, of course, use the Stone Slammer there. You don't really need to use the Battle Blimp unless you're hitting away from it and you know that you won't be able to make it all the way over there with a large part of your dragons. So using the Battle Blimp can be a really good choice as well. Using the Warden ability over the Battle Blimp in order to protect it is exactly what you want to do. You want to protect it from the Seeking Air Mines and taking a lot of damage from air defenses and Inferno Towers. So you just really want to keep that in mind when you guys are using the Battle Blimp, but those are the 2 siege machines that you can use with this attack. Let's go ahead and also talk about other spells that you can bring with the ZapQuake. There are also times where you may want to go ahead and use more Rage and Freeze than the ZapQuake. In this example here, we use the ZapQuake just on an air defense and a multi-target Inferno, and then outside of that, we're just going to be sending the dragons in. This is an interesting composition. This was 12 dragons and 11 balloons. So it was a lot of dragons and balloons to really overwhelm the base. But the bigger thing to keep in mind is when and how you guys can use the rage and freeze spells in this way. So if you have a couple dragons that kind of work themselves this way because you're creating the funnel by using the split Sui hero, you're going to be able to use the rage spells over the dragons where they really are going to need it the most. So using them over to get to the multi-target inferno, to get the dragons that go within to go in for the town hall. You really want to use the rage spells to your advantage in order to provide a lot of support. So you'll see the use of the rage spells on both groups in order to get them right into the town hall compartment to get them over to the multi-target inferno. Notice the use of the freeze in order to provide a lot more support, especially either if it's a multi or if it's a single target inferno. You can use the freeze spell in order to protect the dragons. You can also do this on air defenses. So if you see where you can get rid of an X, or if you could freeze up an Expo, air defense, warden, altar, you can of course do that, and it could provide you with a lot of really good value. And for the most part, what you're doing with the spells here is you're providing a lot of support for the dragons to push through the base and having them to have an easier time moving through. Faster that you can get through that, the quicker you'll be able to get to your cleanup, and you won't be able to time fail once you do that. So once you've kind of really got it down with the rage spells and you're able to push through, you will be able to wreck almost any base design. That was an example though of using less of a ZapQuake, still getting rid of it, still getting rid of an air defense, but using the dragons and the balloons to really overwhelm the rest of the base and overwhelm the air defenses. Other than this, that really kind of sums up exactly what you can do with spells, but you can also add a super troop to this to make it an entirely different attack. You can also add a super troop that can really change the entire dynamic of the attack and change the name entirely from Zap Dragons onto the air hybrid. You can see that we have 5 super minions here. We did use a couple of them to create the funnel, but we're using the 5 super minions in order to support the dragons to easily push through the base. Now, there are of course other ways that you can use the super minions that isn't just using them to create the air hybrid. You can of course use them to create a funnel for your attack. So if you don't want to use a Sui hero in one spot, adding the super minions there is going to provide a lot of support. So using super minions for funneling is a great choice. Outside of this though, you may want to use them with the dragons to provide a bit more support. So you're putting them right behind all these dragons to push right into the base and moving them towards the town hall. You're treating this very similarly to a regular Zap Dragon attack where you're able to use the lightning to get rid of other defensive buildings, including the air defenses. But you can see that we charged in for one of them, and we're going to be able to use the Warren ability to provide a lot of support for the dragons and the super minions moving into the base. This is exactly what you want to do, and as you push through the rest of it, you'll have the super minions there to provide a lot more support for the dragons, as they're a bit more ranged than the dragons, and the dragons have a bit more health than them, making it an ideal synergy, and that way you're going to be able to easily destroy defensive buildings left, right, and center. It really just synergizes really well together, and you're able to use the super minions along with the dragons to overwhelm the rest of the base, making it a lot easier for you guys to really wreck a lot of base designs and giving you a reason to boost the super minions. So that kind of really gives you a really good idea of what super troop you should be boosting and why you should be boosting it. Of course, you can use it for funneling, but it is a great super troop and you definitely should not sleep on it. Other than this though, guys, that is going to do it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys learned something from this video. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about it. Let me know if you guys enjoyed it, if you guys are seeing success with the Zap Dragons, and let me know if you guys want to see some more dragon-based attacks. Other than that though, guys, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell for more educational yet entertaining Clash of Clans content. And also, don't forget to go ahead and check out any of the videos right over here. make sure you guys go ahead and check those out. Check out my Lalo and Witch videos that I've done, and those are definitely really, really good videos. If you want to learn them, make sure you go ahead and take a look at those. I highly recommend them. On top of this, make sure you guys go ahead and join my Discord server. Make sure that you guys follow me over on the social and use code CorruptYT in the Clash Champ shop to save 10% off your purchase over there. Other than that though, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Corrupt, signing out.